volunteering the suit for the motion capture. It's an ordeal for my calf muscles alone, let alone, you know, just the whole body, just to kind of manipulate it.
And then when it came to his face, we used a technology which allowed us not to have to put a big rig of cameras around him, as often happens in a CG performance. He was just himself, so that Emma could play off of him.
You think you could be happy here?
Can anybody be happy if they aren't free?
But then at night, he would have to go into this rig, and he would sit there and recreate his performance.
I am not a beast.
There's a separate facial capture, which is a whole other challenge. So you have to kind of think yourself back into the scenes that you shot maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, without moving your body, you know, just moving your face, do the scenes, whether they have lines in or not.
So he gets his face sprayed, which means every single muscle is captured, every pore. And that's why I think so much of Dan's performance comes through, because every twitch is captured.
It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner.
I really stood in awe of Dan. Not only did he conquer the technology, but he had fun with it. He decided that this was a challenge. There have been a lot of great CG performances, but this was a romantic hero, someone who was at the emotional center of the movie. I always said we could get everything else in this movie right, but if we didn't get a beast that people believed in, then it wouldn't work. You know, often you do a table read of a script, but this is something much more elaborate. It was something we planned and staged for days.
I don't think you could even call it a read-through. It was all singing, all dancing.
When it came time to do Beauty and the Beast, Emma Watson surprised us all. She got up there and did the waltz, and it was so beautiful.
And then I remember Emma Thompson getting up, completely unprompted, and singing Beauty and the Beast. You could see the goosebumps.
Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared, Beauty and the Beast.
This was an amazing movie to be a part of. We took over Shepperton, the great old studio outside of London, for many, many months. In one studio, we had an ensemble rehearsing the dances. The stars would come in and out, join them. We had a space that was just about people learning the songs. Music! The village of Villeneuve was entirely built on the back lot at Shepperton.
This is our world now.
We actually spent only 2 days shooting outside of the studio, and that was in a nearby forest. So it was really an entirely created world.
3, 2, 1, action.
I remember turning up for my first sing-through of my songs and realizing that this film has been up and running. You know, they've been building the sets for weeks, probably months. The costumes were being designed, you know, there was a whole buzz around Shepperton Studios.
It was extraordinary, really. It was like just coming to a sort of party. I mean, I hate to admit it, because of course I was being paid to go to this party. And it was glorious, absolutely glorious.
Tale as old as time.
Belle's costumes are based broadly on the animated film. So the yellow dress was always going to be yellow in our movie as an homage to the animation.
That was an interesting challenge because that dance is so iconic. So Jacqueline and I were really scratching our heads, you know, what should this be?
The yellow dress was one of the most difficult things to achieve, even though watching the movie you might think it's quite an obvious choice. We went through a long design process where we tried different looks and we experimented with different ways of interpreting the yellow dress.
But in the end, we decided that the most important thing was it had to dance beautifully. There are several amazingly talented women who worked on both sides of the camera to bring this movie to life. Their passion and determination inspired me, and I'm honored to introduce them to you.
My name is Sarah Greenwood, and I am the production designer on Beauty and the Beast.
My name is Katie Spencer, and I was the set decorator.
My name's Jacqueline Durran, and I'm the costume designer.
My name is Lucy Bevan, and I'm the casting director.
My name is Virginia Katz, and I'm a film editor.
I'm very much in favor of really encouraging whoever wants to come into the business.
If you're a young person wanting to get into this business, learn whatever you need to learn. Be an apprentice, be an assistant. The most important thing is just don't let somebody steer you away from it because they think you can't do it. Because if you know you can, then you can.
I have loved Beauty and the Beast since I was about 4 years old.
I know that I've seen it hundreds of times since, and now that I have kids of my own, probably thousands.
I just thought it was the most beautiful and perfect movie. The question becomes, why remake something that's perfect? Part of it was this great opportunity to tell it in a live-action, fully photoreal version and distinguish Belle again 25 years later as a 21st century heroine.
When you love something that much, you really want to do it justice.
It was something that we all knew we had to live up to.
We have this extraordinary team who are legendary. They have given us the means that we needed to make it everything it could be.
Salve! Sai parlare? It feels really good to be in this group of actors. It's an amazing cast.
There's so many wonderful, iconic roles in this film.
It was enormously exciting to see so many people concentrated on creating magic that will endure.
Piacere di conoscerla. I've worked on films before where the craftsmanship has been amazing, but this has been unbelievable.
Mostrami la ragazza.
The music is pretty special.
Se fosse colei che spezzerà l'incantesimo.
These songs are very powerful. They arouse emotion, carry you along.
Pensa alla cosa che hai sempre desiderato.
There's something about this story and the score that draws everybody in.
Ora vedila con l'occhio della mente, poi sentila nel cuore.
It will remind you of all the beauty of the original.
But also expand on it and give it more detail and more depth.
This version of Beauty and the Beast will define a whole new generation in a wonderful way.
You know, often you do a table read of a script, but this is something much more elaborate. It was something we planned and staged for days.
It was a production unlike anything I've ever seen before.
I'd been rehearsing for 3 weeks doing the Gaston number. They asked me the night before at the read-through if I would mind doing it in front of the creative team. That day, we all felt something very special was going to happen.
Interior, country inn, night. Amidst the animal heads, antlers, and drunken villages. There is an even sadder sight, Gaston. He drowns his sorrows in ale while Le Fou listens.
In a wrestling match, nobody fights like Gaston. When I hunt, I sneak up with my quiver, and beasts of the field say a prayer. First I carefully aim for the liver, then I shoot from behind. Is that fair? I don't care.
No one hits like Gaston, matches wits like Gaston.
In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston. I'm especially good at expectorating.
It was a really special experience for me. I love to dance. I've always loved to dance. And getting to learn to do this specially choreographed dance between Beast and Belle was definitely a highlight.
There's something very nice when you're working with music and dancing. It's quite unusual in our work nowadays that we get a chance to do that. It harks back to, you know, the great Hollywood days, and to see a ballroom full of dancers dancing absolutely in sync is something that we absolutely love to see.
all of us on the first day when we were doing the dance sequence, we danced all day in this set filled with fresh flowers. And I mean, we were all just said to each other, this will never happen again.
A rehearsal process for a film, it ranges between a week to 2 weeks. Gaston was definitely an exception to that. 3 more weeks of rehearsal and we're gonna nail this.
I had 5 months of choreographing and rehearsing and changing and resculpting, because the day that we film, that is the day it will be there forever.
Too much?
Yep.
And then when you're actually doing it for the cameras, it's very much chopped up. It's interesting because you have to have enormous stamina to do it over and over and over again. Oh, it feels great.
Everything was rehearsed to absolute perfection so that when we got to the set, it ran like clockwork. And what you have to do is make the structure disappear so that everything looks very organic and very natural. But that's actually quite difficult to do.
Ho accettato di doppiare il ruolo nella Belle e la Bestia con grandissimo entusiasmo da subito, perché non l'avevo mai fatto, una novità, e quindi in questo la bellezza di affrontare qualcosa di nuovo, ma anche la difficoltà di non essere appunto abituata a farlo.
Se egli avesse imparato ad amare e fosse riuscito a farsi amare prima che l'ultimo petalo fosse caduto.
Sono qui per mio padre.
È un ladro.
Venga alla luce.
Beh, io credo che Belle sia un personaggio molto tosto. Mi ricordo che quando ero bimba e vidi per la prima volta la Belle e la Bestia, l'ammiravo, perché pensavo che io non sarei stata in grado di vincere la paura di vedersi una bestia di fronte, e invece di avere la curiosità di scoprire che cosa c'è dietro, appunto posso andare oltre le apparenze. Mi ricordo che proprio ero ammirata dal coraggio, dalla forza di questo personaggio.
Rising in the east. Uccidiamo la bestia!
Mi raccomando, non perdetevi la Belle e la Bestia, che sarà al cinema dal 16 marzo.